Hello, you welcome. This is Moment for Thought. I am Aliyu Baba Barrow. Nigeria is a land of many contrasts, a land of many bounties, of tremendous potentials to make the country great, and of course occupy that exalted position of greatness among the Committee of Nations. And for future economic prosperity, not only for future, but from today. But one factor that is very, very vital, a platform for development, is peace and security. And maintenance of it has become very paramount to any administrator, to any public officer, especially the security personnel in the country. On this discussion, we're going to have a look at the issue of peace and security for development. And I have with me in the studio distinguished Nigerians to do justice to this issue. I have with me the Executive Governor of Plateau State, Mr. Simon Bakola Long. He's a lawyer by profession and a politician through and through. In fact, the longest serving speaker in the Plateau State House of Assembly.
Okay.
You're welcome on the program.
Thank you, it's my pleasure.
I have IGP as well. When they say once a general, always one, once a commanding officer, always one. He's always bacon at times of need. He's the former Inspector General of Police, Alhaji Suleiman Abba. He too, a lawyer by profession, I help him see. I'm a journalist by profession, sir. He's Commander of the Order of the Federal Republic, and also a member of the National Institute, NIPS. I was once a lieutenant, I suppose, in just with the NIPS.
Yes.
You're all welcome.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure indeed.
Thank you. Let me start with the Executive Governor. You know, when you govern, an uncle of mine, Jerry and I used to say, you should govern well.
Yes.
And I hope you are governing well.
We're doing our best.
Yes, and Plateau State, especially at the beginning of this political dispensation, from 1999, a lot of, just like in so many parts of this country, we had a lot of upheaval, a lot of crisis here and there. Is it religious? Is it communal? And what have you? But suddenly, we found a headway. It's always said that you show the light and people will find the way. How have you been showing the light this time around? And people finding their ways, yes.
Well, thank you very much. Like you said, clearly, I would say I was privileged to be in the House of Assembly of Plateau State. I was also privileged as a youth activist.
Yes.
Because I was in the union of this of my profession, the Nigerian Bar Association, as an assistant secretary, and also the national president of the Gumai Unity Forum.
Okay.
That's one of the major tribes
Yes.
in Plateau State. And through that, when I went to the House of Assembly, all the challenges were also there. 1999, to be specific. And at the time they came back, I realized that there were crises in Plateau. There had been crises in Plateau State, and each of the crises, each time there were this setting up of commissions of inquiry.
Yes.
Sometimes with results, sometimes without results. I said that because sometimes the results are there, no implementation, and then by the time we came up in 1999, accumulation of all these problems were there. I understudied some of those problems when I was Speaker of the House. You know, as Speaker of the House, you have privilege of of gathering grievances from
Yes.
different constituencies and every time putting them together and trying to find solutions to some of them. Now, 7 years as a Speaker of the House of Assembly and moving from there to the governor of the state within the time that there was a very huge challenge. I will not say I was lucky when I came in 2015 because by 2015 Plateau was now home of crisis. Every time different dimensions. You watch on television, you will count number of people that are being killed by farmers, herdsmen, crisis. So all over. In fact, my first day of stepping into office, I was wondering what made me to even go to even contest to be governor of Plateau State. But however, through God's divine, I had a lot of people, lieutenants. I had a lot of people coming to me to tell me that we were available to offer challenges, but we had no opportunity to contribute. Now, with that kind of approach, I said, yes, it is divine. It's God that was bringing them. We had civil society organizations, we had NGOs, we had elders forum and different kind of groups. And above all, the two warring communities at that time were also coming out to say, we have solutions to our crisis.
Yes.
That time it was the Birom Fulani crisis. It was difficult for the past regime because I will put it that it was the attitude of the leader himself. So what I did was to collect some of these things, the experience I had gathered at the assembly, and then the fact that all these people were coming to say, we have solutions, we can proffer solutions. I gave all the opportunities. I gave those people who were even at that time at the war front. I brought in the Biroms. I sat them together. I brought the Fulanis and I sat all of them together. And I said, look, this crisis is not about me. You have the reasons for your crisis. Can you now provide solutions to this crisis? And through that, they started talking. For the first time, they were now talking. But it was not easy from the beginning.
Yes.
Each of them were fighting each other. The first meeting was thorough, but I made sure security were also around because I knew it was going to be very hot.
Abbas around.
So as provided. But at the end of the day, almost how many hours? From 9 o'clock to 5. We ate lunch there. We ate breakfast. We ate lunch. We ate
together
dinner. The first day, no solution. But I knew as they were ventilating their anger, and I said, yes, these people are getting somewhere. Let's give them opportunity to ventilate all the anger. This one will abuse this one. They want to fight. We'll separate them. Then we left the meeting, postponed the meeting, and I said we'll meet again. After 2 days, we met again. We started again in the morning. We got back to around 5, and then one old man stood up. He said, look, what are we doing here? This young man is like our son. He's not ill enough to even be some of us, our sons, our son. Why he called us to this place and he said, we must find solution. All of us, we know the cause of our crisis. If we know the cause of crisis, the only thing we can do is to help him bring the solution. That's what he's asking us to do. But we are coming here to fight ourselves. This one will say, if you fight me, I will fight you. If you kill my cow, I will kill you. If you destroy my farmland, I will kill you. Said that is not. Let us help him. He needs help. Yes. If that is the case, what is our solution? I kept quiet. And I said, okay, can you now suggest solutions? Enough of abuses here and there. And he said, look, Mr. Governor, we cannot do it here. Just allow us to bring equal number of people. We will tell ourselves the truth. They know. The other side knows why they are fighting us. We know why we are fighting them. And I gave them opportunity. I picked 10 year, and I supported with the NGOs. I supported with the security. No, first they didn't want security. They said they don't want security to come there. They said they want to tell themselves the truth. If they go to tell the truth, security will use it against them. But they don't want security there. I said, what about NGOs? They said, all the NGOs can come. And the NGOs came. They started meeting. In less than 1 month, there was peace in Plateau State.
Interesting.
Because they developed a framework. The NGOs helped them in developing the framework from each yard of their meeting. And at the end of the day, brought out a document. That's Memorandum of action.
Action, yes.
Action. And that memorandum of action is what I also signed, I took to the ESCO. So it's like a law in Plateau State.
Beautiful.
So some of the insecurity that you see are all infringements of some of those, their memorandum of action.
Action. I think I brought the idea of Plateau to use it
Yes.
as an example. You know, my Plateau, Lagos, Kano,
Yes.
they're like microcosm of Nigeria.
Exactly.
Everybody is there. I remember when the IGP came in, he said,
It's a product of
It's a
just.
product of Jos.
Yes.
And I belong to Jos. Went to NIPS again subsequently. And you have lots of people in Jos,
Exactly.
everybody.
Mm.
And this example I brought is like the Abunzi Declaration in Rwanda.
Yes.
That is one of the successes of that country in bringing people together. And when you are talking about alternative dispute resolution, things
Yes.
like that, and it's good you are a lawyer. And I know the IGP, we talk about that seriously. Well, you've had the Plateau experience and you've been there. And as a student and as an elder students, let me put it that way, in NIPS, and perhaps in active policing. Nigeria is a land of many countries, but it has a common historical antecedents. He's, too, the chairman Northern Governors Forum, you know, bringing his experience from the micro to the macro system of the country. How do you see that as a way forward towards really assisting even the law enforcement agencies to work for the nations to go ahead? Yes.
Well, let me first and foremost appreciate the efforts of His Excellency in making Plateau not only peaceful,
Yes.
but governable for everyone to see. The fact that an effective leadership made it is for all of us to see. And like you said, yes, we all have stake in Plateau. Plateau, I was in Jos as a young man. And even in 2009, when I went to NIPS, Plateau was still peaceful, sort of. In fact, it was in 2009, some of these problems, what His Excellency said, the Fulani farmers' problem, you know, became more serious and almost became uncontrollable.
Yes.
But I'm happy this has been brought under control. Looking at it on the, you know, larger perspective, security, insecurity are issues of every society. And I dare say that it has been with us for centuries.
Yes.
And even in the advanced world today, you know, issues of insecurity do exist. But the most important thing is the effectiveness of the mitigating factors.
Yes.
And I think in this case, you know, a situation where we have laws, these laws should be made to work. If, for example, in the Plateau, arrests were not made, you know, suspects were not prosecuted and jailed or dealt with appropriately as provided by the law, then it means we would have continued to see some of these problems. If the security agencies were not effective enough to support the efforts of His Excellency and the community themselves, all that happened was a clear effectiveness of community policing. It is in the principle of community policing for, you know, members of the community to come out and say, we want to be policed this way. That was what, you know, they did. I think these are the kind of, you know, mitigating factors we need to ensure that are not only taken seriously, but the leadership utilize them properly so that we can have peace in other states and in other societies where we also have, you know, threats, you know, and risk that we call insecurity in the society today.
Yes. When you hover over the horizon and see Nigeria, just as the IGP said, it's just having its own share of crisis.
Yes.
Even in developed societies, they are finding it difficult to control this. It has to go with the phenomenon of development, so to speak.
Yes.
You find that in such cases where we have crisis, take for instance, in the East today, although it has subsided, in the West, Southwest, the youth are always put on the front line. And I remember during the last Governors Forum, Northern Governors Forum, when Governor Babangida Aliyu of Niger State was the chairman, there were lots of, I think, summits on agriculture,
Yes.
on youth development, and of course the integration of informal school into the formal system.
Yes.
That all states should go and do that.
Yes.
Do you think that at the macro level of Nigeria's economy, that is nationwide generally, how do we arrest this when we focus our attention on the youth and of course on development and the social system generally?
Yeah, you are very right on that. And where you see crisis, you find it that a lot of people, those that are involved, are youths.
Yes.
Because you find why, then the reason is you ask yourself, why are they involved? You know that if people are busy, people are employed, they won't leave their jobs and be going there to be involved, to make ready-made materials for crisis. But when they are not employed, you find them vulnerable to this kind of thing. So the first thing in addressing some of these crises is to also find ways of taking them off the street. Now, when you are able to engage them in meaningful jobs, you will also have reduced some parts of insecurity in the nation. So the best thing to do in governance is that we must develop mechanism for engaging the youth and also creating jobs for them. Now, you can't do that when in the society too, there's a lot of corruption, when in the society there are no developments, when in the society insecurity here and there, that will not even give you room to even develop the economy.
Definitely.
Because you can't even develop without the economy, without raising the economy. So these are all factors that go together. So if we have to do them, we have to sit down and like we always say, identify some of them. And the second part of it is implementation. I've had cause to say a lot of times, yes, we are all in government, but implementation is necessary. Definitely. You don't build a structure, you don't develop a framework, and you forget about it. And you wait until there is an occurrence. Then you start developing. I've seen, just like I mentioned when I came to Plateau State, so many reports of crisis, so many reports of commission of inquiry. And people were asking me, let's go back and implement some of them. I said, it's not about implementing some of these things now, because some of them are outdated. There may not be reason for even implementing them. Tomorrow you said, this one said, this man was responsible, the man is dead. So what am I implementing? But at least I studied them and I picked some of those things that I will be using presently.
Yes.
Now, if you are using it to accommodate feelings, if you are using it to address injustice, it will go a long way. If the cause of part of it was injustice, like we do in Plateau. Plateau has 53 ethnic groups. To imagine a state with 53 ethnic groups is a miniature Nigeria. And you cannot, so when you are addressing the issue, you are not only addressing the issue of indigents, you are also addressing the issue of those who are not even indigents of the state. Because out of those 53 ethnic groups, you will find out that only a few of them are really people. But you find the Orobos, you find the Igbos, you find the Yorubas, people who came in because of mining activities.
Yes,
So
yes.
I woke up, I grew up in Jos to see that Jos was a holiday place.
Like the Mayadiko
For even the
village.
white people, for even for the British.
Yes.
All of them were well settled there.
Like
so how,
Conor Mayadiko.
Medical, yes.
Yes, you know.
Yes. So all of them.
Yes.
When you have a blessing, I saw it as a blessing. So Nigeria for us should be a blessing. I saw Plateau State as a blessing. When people were saying, drive this one if you are not, I said, why do you drive him? Nature has provided that people should come to your place. When they come to your place, they invest in your place, and the economy is built up.
Yes.
So without them, Some of those economies you will not see. Without the white people coming to start mining, we will not know Jos as a mining hub. Many hotels were created.
Yeah.
Many people came to settle in that place. Even Mr. President told me, he said he was riding bicycle when he was GOC with his wife from his house
Yes.
to his station every Saturday. They will ride bicycle to go and relax, come back in the evening.
Yeah.
But today, those things are not available
They are not.
because of crisis.
Yes.
Because somebody will just wake up because he's very selfish. Somebody will wake up because of his personal sentiment, will start building things that will divide the country
The people,
instead
yes.
of uniting the country.
Yes. He now talks about still the experience in Plateau State and in the northern part of the country now as the chairman, Northern Governors Forum. I think the theater of problems, this insecurity, the North has seen it all. Let me put it that way. And it has started permeating across. Because today, people learn from others, whether bad or good. And everything goes haywire. How do we inject this kind of development? We have Southern Governors Forum, we have Northern Governors Forum, we have all the NGOs and what have you. How do we galvanize? You, as a security officer, how do you see Nigeria in that perspective? How do we really nip it in the bud, if we can, for future?
Let me say that where the major problem of insecurity, perhaps in the northern part of the country, started in very serious nature was, let me say, Borno, the ECOMOG.
Yes, yes.
The ECOMOG was a clear indication of youth unengagement, youth, unemployment, perhaps even youth lack of direction of what they need to take up with them, what they should identify to be important to them, and pursuing it. Lack of leadership on the right direction. And if I may cite an example, when I was Commissioner of Police in Rivers State, anytime we succeed in suppressing, oil bunkering,
Yes.
you see that crimes rise up in the city. That is to say, if these youths are engaged in meaningful activities, then crimes will be less.
Yes.
And it doesn't matter whether they are involved, in activities that disrupt the economy or not. Get them engaged. And whether it is farming, like in the case of the northern part of the country, we ought to by now have made the development of agriculture the main source of employment of our youth. Unfortunately, they did not follow, the tradition of the elders, where a majority of, the members of the family are engaged in farming.
Yes.
Maybe in the modern way. And this is where perhaps the governors should have come in. Do everything possible to gather, the farmers,
Yes.
form them into societies, take advantage of, the loans, particularly the current efforts in the CBA, the CB and
CBA,
NASAL
yes.
in particular, and encourage the youth in forming societies, farming societies, and taking advantage of these loans, and perhaps developing agriculture. And of course, the government has a lot to do there. It needs to open up, establish the roads, the railways that are coming up now, and so on. So engagement of the youth, whether it is in the establishment or the development of infrastructure,
Yes.
which in the advanced world is the number one source of employment. Whenever they have problem of unemployment, they begin to do infrastructure development so that they provide employment for people to, which also affects other aspects of the economy.
Yes.
If people are employed, there's the certainty that they will get paid And when they get paid, they, patronize the supermarkets. The products are,
And the
you know,
economy
and
thrives.
the economy thrives.
I think you have a lot to offer, and
Yes.
so as the governor before
Yes.
we listen to him. This is a very, very important discussion. When you have a problem, you have a quagmire, you want something to come to get us out of that quagmire. And I think we should continue with this discussion. I know His Excellency will oblige us, but this is the first cut. For next week, we will continue with those panacea. And I know we'll continue definitely. And thank you for coming,
Thank you.
Your Excellency.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming,
Thank you.
IGP.
Thank you. Thank you for inviting.
Thank you. We'll be back on the moment for thought again for the continuation of the discussion. In fact, we've reached the climax, so to speak, so that, as we said from the beginning, they have begun to show the light, and people are, and both the government and the people. Incidentally, we have the representative of the executive in the country, and we'll find the way. Thank you for watching. Goodbye, I'm Aliyu Baba Baro. Thank you.